Hi, everyone. Liz Drillhammer here, and welcome to a short embodied practice exercise that you can do at any time to call up and amplify your best self state. So, I just led a group of female leaders through a 3 morning mindset masterclass, and this particular exercise landed quite well with the group. I got a request to do a recording, and so that's what this video is all about. One of the reasons I love this practice is because it really emphasizes how we can take control of our state. We can shift our state using free tools we always have with us: our breath, our body, our attention. We can shift our state, and when we do that, we can eventually change our lives. So I'll invite you into this with me. If you're used to me already, you know that I like to do things from a standing position. So I'll credit the foundations of this practice to the Strozzi Institute. This is where I learned this version of centering. And I also want to credit myself because I've tweaked it a little bit by adding in this best self element to it. So come to a standing position. And before you even think about getting all meditative, pay attention to how you typically stand, right? How is it that you typically hold your body? So maybe there's a hip jutted out to the side, maybe there's a collapsed shoulder, paying attention to those things and noticing, well, what mood or emotional state goes along with this? And we're simply increasing awareness, because when we increase awareness, then we can make different choices. And so I'll invite you to choose to come into a more centered position with me now, and I'll guide you through it. Eventually, we want to do this practice with eyes open because we want to be able to take it out in the world and navigate our world with eyes open. But in the beginning, it can be helpful to close your eyes. So make a choice around that. And I'll invite you to, first and foremost, pay attention to where your feet meet ground. So shift your attention to where the soles of your feet meet the ground underneath you. And you might notice your attention wandering away from the soles of your feet. If that's the case, it's normal. And inviting your attention back to where your feet meet ground. And noticing if just that shift in attention, right? Attention being one of the free tools you always have with you. Noticing if just that shift in attention causes any mental or emotional state as well. May or may not be there for you, but notice. Does shifting my attention to the soles of my feet shift my mental and emotional state as well? And you may find that your nervous system tends to calm down. If that's the case, you're not alone. Researchers don't know why, but when they have researched this, what they've learned is that when people shift their attention to the soles of their feet, their nervous system starts to calm down. And they think it's because your feet are as far away from the thoughts in your head that you can get. So paying attention to where feet meet ground. And what I like to do here is a couple of things. One, I like to remind myself that something has me here, right? Something is anchoring me to planet Earth. And even if I feel overwhelmed by things, something bigger than me has me and is rooting me, anchoring me, holding me to planet Earth. And for some of us, that might be a spiritual perspective. For those of us who are more scientific, we might call that gravity. But something has us. Something bigger than us is supporting us. So I'll remind myself of that, and on an overwhelming day, an especially overwhelming day, I'll imagine roots growing out of the soles of my feet. Imagining roots growing into the ground, reaching into the ground, spreading. And from that place of rooting, grounding, anchoring, I invite you to start to find length. So from deep roots can grow tall trees. From deep roots can grow tall trees. And allowing yourself to take up the amount of vertical length that's rightfully yours. And not overextending, so we don't want to be uncomfortable by overreaching, but allowing yourself to take up your full vertical length. And in this practice, this version of a centering practice from the Strozzi Institute, this dimension of length is associated with dignity. And allowing yourself to take up the amount of dignity that's rightfully yours. Right? We have these expressions, head held high, right? Not low to the ground, head held high. And again, noticing, is this something that's familiar to you? Is this how you typically walk around with your dignity? Or is this unfamiliar to you? And one of the things I like to remind myself of here is that me taking up my full dignity in no way impedes other people from doing the same. So there's enough room on this planet for all of us to walk around owning our full dignity. And from this place of grounded feet and a long spine, from the space of finding center between ground and sky, I'll invite you to call up an image of yourself when you are at your best. So for some of us, we might have to go a little bit into the future for this. So if that's the case for you, call up an image of yourself 5 years from now, 10 years from now, an image of yourself when you are at your best. And allowing whatever image has come to you to be the right one. And really getting curious about this version of you. What is this version of you like? How do they walk around? How do they relate to others? And what words would you use to describe this version of you? And this version of you, even if it feels like it's in the future, is actually a version of you that you're capable of amplifying right now. And so, whatever feelings your best self version of you feels, allowing yourself to embody those feelings right now. And that might mean dialing it up maybe 1%, 2%. allowing those feelings to take up a little bit more space in your body right now. And as you do that, noticing for yourself, what have you changed? Like, as you connect with your best self, your future self, what are you doing differently in your body now? And noticing that for yourself is different for all of us. So that's the best self, future self practice. I hope you enjoyed that. I would love to see your comments in the chat. And if this landed with you, if you felt something different from doing this practice and you think this is something I want to feel again, then I invite you to redo it. You can do it day after day and keep practicing connecting with your best and future self. Thank you.